Well, I grew up out here in Duncanville on a farm right outside of Tuscaloosa. I joined the Marine Corps when I was 18 because I'd had an argument with my daddy, and he told me to join the Navy, the Air Force, and learn a trade, but don't join the Marine Corps. So to teach him a lesson, I joined the Marine Corps. I was 0311 Basic Infantry. I got there and went down to a place called Amois. It's south of Da Nang. And basically for the first month, all we ran into was booby traps, and every now and then there'd be a sniper, a Viet Cong sniper. And then they moved us up to a place called Phu Bai. Said they was going to send us into a place called Way City and told us to leave our packs and everything. We was only going up there. There was a few infiltrators in the city. And so we went in there on January the 31st and got up to the Citadel and realized there's a whole lot more here than just a few infiltrators. And well, I put it this way, the first 2 days they was in there, we had Alpha 1-1, and then I was in Golf 2-5, and we were both under strength, so there was about 300 of us, and they found out later on, after years of doing research, there was about 10,000 NVA in there. And so there for a couple of days, we pretty much was hemmed up in the MACV compound, and then they just piecemealed us in there, a company at a time, instead of just sending in a whole battalion or a whole regiment. But that Tet Offensive was going on, and it was a nationwide thing, so I guess we was lucky to get what we got. I lost my first squad leader on day one. That was Corporal Lucas. And then I had a real good squad leader, Corporal David Warner. He was from Seattle. And we had a lance corporal, and he got killed the same day Corporal Warner died on. And so here I am, first fire team leader. Well, I've been in Vietnam less than a month and a half, and all of a sudden, okay, I'm a squad leader. And you got to understand, I hadn't been there a month. I didn't know anything. The fear never leaves you. You're scared the whole time. But after a few days, it's like we just got mad. Whichever direction we went, wherever we went, they were killing us. So my job was to go in there and kill them. They wasn't going anywhere, and they wasn't going to surrender. I was a pretty good shot. But there was one day that I made 3 shots that people say you can't make those shots. But I wasn't making them with a rifle. I made them with an M79 grenade launcher, which I'm shooting a 40-millimeter grenade at this guy. You get pretty close to him, you're going to mess him up. If you hit him dead on, he's done deal. Well, somehow or another, the rumor got started that I was sniping these people. No, I was blowing them up. Way was during the monsoons. It seemed like it rained every day. The stench, there was so many. I mean, you're in a city. You can't just go in there with a bulldozer and dig a ditch and bury the bodies. There was bodies everywhere, civilian bodies, theirs. Of course, we got ours. Dead dogs, pigs, it was just the smell of the place. It just stunk. It smelled like death the whole time, and it just lingered. I mean, I don't know what to tell you except I don't want to use the expression all hell broke loose, because you hear that in every one of these documentaries or these interviews, but it was just total chaos. I think the biggest mistake they made is they finally let enough of us get in there. If you're going to get a bunch of Marines hemmed up, you might want to give them a way out. We didn't have no way out. They pretty well messed up. When it was over with, from my understanding, eventually had 1,280 Marines in there, and out of those 1,280 Marines, we had 960 casualties. After that, we went back down to Amboy, and we got called up. I was a platoon sergeant then, and we got called up to, our captain was going to brief us. He was a total idiot. He said we'd just crossed a whole click, which that's 1,000 yards, wide open rice paddy. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We moved to this one tree line, and then about 200 yards away, there's another tree line. And the captain said, this is a regimental objective. That means you got other companies out there, you can see them, you know, out across the rice paddies. If they tell you it's a regimental objective, something's in there. He said, are there any questions? And I said, sir, I got a question. He said, what's that? I said, what's our on call? On call was like a pre-plotted target. And he said, we're not going to use any on call, we're going to surprise them. And I just looked at him, I said, you lost your mind. I said, we just crossed all this, like, it's broad daylight. You think we going to sneak up on them? And we walked into a U-shaped ambush that day, and I lost the whole squad. And I'm not going to say some of them wouldn't have died, but I'm going to say a whole lot less would have died if he would have just prep fired the place. If it's a regimental objective, there's something in there. Later on, there was one time we did call in airstrikes. This was June or July, and we was going to hit this tree line and called in an airstrike, and this plane's gone, he's going 600 miles an hour. He drops a 750-pound bomb, and here comes a guy, pops up out of a little spider hole, and he's shooting at him. He's way gone out of range. And you sit there and it goes through your head. Now I got to go over there and dig that little bastard out of there. This is the kind of guts this man, he's shooting in an airplane, it's way gone. And somebody has to go get him. And that's the kind of men they were. They were just tough. I'll never say I liked the North Vietnamese, but I will say this, I had the utmost respect for them. I pulled another tour. I was back over there when they evacuated Saigon and Phnom Penh. Right there at the end, I mean, you could only get so many people out, and there were mothers literally throwing their babies up for Marines to catch. Once you got, what you gonna do, throw the kid back? It's always gonna be a dark spot in our history because of the way we just pulled out and left them. My first tour over there, I thought I was going over there for a legitimate reason. When I re-enlisted in the Marine Corps, I knew that this is no win situation. Well, I knew that before I come out the first time. They're not going to let us win this war. Let me make something adamantly clear. The American military didn't lose nothing in Vietnam. There was never a hill that we needed to take we didn't take. There was no place that we needed to hold that the American military didn't lose. Now, it was the American people, the mamas and daddies, they who lost that war. And it'll be with me till the day I die. Westmoreland, to me, a total idiot. A total idiot, and if he's still alive, I'd sit here today and tell him to his face. It took him 22 days to admit to the President of the United States that hellhole up there in Way. It took him 22 days to even acknowledge it. Yeah, there was 10,000 of them up there. There's a whole lot. He knew what was up there and tried to cover it up. They screwed up. The biggest oxymoron in the world, and this will be the last thing I say, is military intelligence. That is the biggest oxymoron in the world.